Let me paint a picture for you. A physician couple sitting at their kitchen table on a Sunday night. The kids are finally in bed. The dishwasher is running, and they're staring at the exact same number on the exact same screen. $300,000 sitting in cash. Same account, same balance, same facts. One of them looks at that number and feels calm wash over their entire body. They think, we're safe. If something happens tomorrow, we're going to be okay. The other one looks at the exact same number on the exact same screen and feels their chest tighten. They think, why is this money just sitting here doing nothing? Same money, different meaning. And within about 90 seconds, they are in the same argument they've been having for the last 3 years. An argument they think is about cash. It is absolutely positively not about the cash. What's going on, my friend? James here from I Am Wealth, back for episode 4 of the Take Control RX series. If you've been with me on this series so far, I thank you for your time and attention. And by the end of this episode, here's my promise to you for the next 15 minutes. You are going to understand why you and your spouse keep having the same money conversation over and over and over and over again and never actually resolve it. And hey, trust me, I have been there too. And more importantly, you're going to walk away with one question so powerful that if you ask it today, it might rewrite the next 20 years of your marriage and your money. But we're not going to get to that question yet, because first I have to break something. Here's the thing. If you've been with me for episodes 1, 2, and 3, you already know we've been building an operating system for your money. Episode 1, we established that high income is not the same as financial control. Episode 2, we ran the impact primer, that vision of your future and why take control of your money in the first place. In episode 3, we checked your 3 financial vital signs: oxygen, pulse, immune system. The patient is stable. And now the industry would tell you we're ready to jump into treatments, investment, tax strategy, debt payoff, go, 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 go. And I'm going to tell you today, not yet, because there's one more part of the patient's history we have not taken. And if we skip it, every treatment plan we build is going to quietly fall apart in about 18 months. So let's talk about the myth I have to break for you today. Here's the myth. The myth is that money decisions are math decisions. Did you hear that? The myth is that money decisions are math decisions. That if you just get the numbers right, the spreadsheet right, the algorithm right, the return right, the strategy right, the beautifully crafted portfolio right, everything else falls into place. And I get why this myth exists. I really do. You're a physician. You were trained to trust data over feeling. You were trained that objectivity keeps patients alive. You spent a decade learning to override your emotions at 2 a.m. so you could make the right call. So, of course, when it comes to your money, you default to the same instinct. Show me the numbers, show me the math, show me the optimal answer. And there is a whole industry, my industry, waiting to hand you a spreadsheet and tell you the spreadsheet is the answer. But here's the thing. If money decisions were really math decisions, then 2 intelligent physicians looking at the same $300,000 would reach the same conclusion every single time. And they don't. They almost never do. So let me tell you the truth that took me years to fully see, even as a financial planner, sitting across from over 100 physician families. We don't make financial decisions based solely on money. We make them based on what money means to us. Read that in your head one more time. I'll say it once more. We don't make financial decisions based solely on money. We make them based on what money means to us. Money itself is numerical. Our experience of money is deeply, deeply human. In every physician couple I have ever met who is stuck in the same money fight over and over and over again is stuck there not because one of them is wrong, but because they are having two different conversations at the same time without ever even realizing it. Let me show you what I mean. I want to tell you about a real physician couple I've worked with. I'm going to protect their privacy, so the details are anonymized, but the emotional tension is exact. They're a dual physician couple. They earn plenty of money, and they came to me in one meeting because they could not stop arguing about a Disney trip. A Disney trip they absolutely could afford. This was not in any way a mathematical affordability problem, though I know Disney is astronomically expensive. The spreadsheet cash flow said yes. The Rocket Money app said yes. The cash was there. The cash flow was there. On paper, it was a non-issue. But one spouse looked at that trip and felt something tighten in their chest. They said essentially, I know we can afford it. I just don't feel comfortable spending that much money. And the other spouse looked at the exact same trip and saw something completely different. They saw their kids at 7 and 9 years old eating Mickey-shaped ice cream bars with the little ears on their head, laughing on Space Mountain, falling asleep in the stroller after the fireworks. They saw a memory that had a window because those kids are not going to be 7 and 9 for very long. Same family, same dollars, same cash flow, completely different meaning. For one of them, money represented security. Keeping it meant safety. For the other, money represented freedom and experience. Using it meant actually living the life they had worked so hard to create. And here's the killer. They thought they were arguing about Disney. How could you argue about the happiest place on earth? They were not arguing about Disney. They were arguing about the meaning underneath the money. And sometimes, can we afford it? And do I feel safe spending it? Are two completely different questions. So let me ask you something. How many times have you and your spouse had the same fight about the same topic and walked away thinking, we're both being reasonable? Why can't we just agree on this? Maybe it's about how much cash to keep in checking. Maybe it's about whether to pay down the mortgage or invest the money. Maybe it's about when one of you gets to reduce clinical hours. Maybe it's about a vacation. Maybe it's about a house. Maybe it's about how much is enough. Here's what I want you to consider tonight. Maybe you have been arguing about the numbers when the numbers were never actually the issue. Because when two people build a life together, they don't just combine two incomes, they combine two money histories. And those histories do not just disappear when the attending paycheck hits. They come with you into every financial decision you make for the remainder of your life. Which brings me to the part where I have to be honest with you, because I cannot sit here and talk to you about what money means without being willing to put my own on the table first. Remember that story I told you back in episode 1 about standing outside the coffee shop in Traverse City wondering how I was going to make rent? Hot July day, sweat literally dripping down my body. Phone pressed to my ear, talking to my business partner, Jeff, wondering how I was going to survive another month as the founder of a new firm that had my income cut in half. Drowning in imposter syndrome as a financial advisor with no money. Too ashamed to ask Steph, my girlfriend at the time, now wife, for money. Here's what I did not fully understand about that moment at the time. That experience did not just happen and then go away. It didn't dissolve when my income recovered. It didn't dissolve when the business took off. It didn't dissolve when Steph and I got married. That experience changed what money means to me as a human being. Because for a long stretch of my life, money did not feel secure. And once you felt that, really felt it, sweat dripping down your body on a hot July day kind of felt it, security stops being an abstract concept and it becomes something your body remembers. So to this day, even though the math has changed, even though the numbers say that I'm fine, there is still a part of me that carries that meaning of that July afternoon. And it influences how I feel about cash, about reserves, about risk, about buying the new truck that I'm about to buy right now and thinking I might lose everything and not be able to afford the payments. I'm not kidding. I'm telling you this for one reason. Because if you think that you experience money objectively, you don't. None of us do. Not me, not you, not the smartest attending in your hospital, not the wealthiest couple you know. All of us are walking into every financial decision carrying a lifetime of stories, memories, and meaning underneath the numbers. And here's the thing that took me the longest to understand. There is no correct meaning. Security is not better than freedom. Freedom is not better than contribution. Contribution is not better than success. The goal is not to have the right meaning. The goal is awareness. Because the moment you can name what money means to you, and the moment you can name what money means to your spouse, the entire conversation changes. You stop arguing about the number on the screen and you start understanding the story underneath it. In this right here is the part of the patient history I had to take with you before we begin treatment. Because here's the truth. I have watched it play out over and over and over and over again in this industry. You can build the most beautifully, most optimized, most mathematically efficient, perfect financial plan and portfolio on earth. And if it doesn't honor what money means to you and what money means to your spouse, you will not follow it, or you will feel empty as you are. The plan will look great in a PDF. The numbers will look awesome on paper. And in real life, it'll quietly collapse underneath the weight of a meaning nobody ever named. So let me give you the replacement belief, the new operating truth that has to sit underneath every financial decision you make from this point going forward. Every money decision has a story underneath it. Every money decision has a story underneath it. Yours has one, your spouse has one, I have one, and until you know both, you're trying to solve a marriage level question with a spreadsheet level answer. Which means the work tonight is not more math. The work tonight is one question and one follow-up. So here is your action item. And yes, you knew I was going to give you one. This podcast is all about action. We created a downloadable one-page companion worksheet called Your Money Story. Understand the experiences and beliefs shaping your financial decisions. You can download it in the show notes. But you don't need the worksheet tonight to get started. Here is the exercise. And by the way, this exercise is inspired by the Gottman Institute's work on the meaning of money, which I have found incredibly valuable in helping couples understand what money represents to each of them. Credit where credit is due. Shout out to the Gottman Institute. I would encourage any listener to Google the meaning of money, Gottman Institute. Here's what I want you to do. Grab a pen and a paper, or open your notes app, or maybe you've even built a Google Drive for this whole Take Control RX series, or a folder in your notes app on your phone. And tonight, before you go to bed, I want you to answer this question. What are the 3 things money means to you? Here are some potential ideas. Not an exhaustive list, just a starting point. Security, freedom, success, love, power, significance, survival, contribution. Or something else entirely that is uniquely yours. Pick your top 3. And then, this is the part that matters most. Ask yourself, why? Where did that meaning come from? What experience in your life taught you that money meant that? Was it something in your childhood? A parent who never talked about money? A parent who talked about it too much? A moment of scarcity? A moment of abundance? A failure? An achievement? A fear you have never fully named? Write it down and then continue asking yourself why 7 times, and you will get to a place that you never thought you would get to in under 10 minutes. And now the twist. If you have a spouse or a partner, this is where the magic happens. Complete your answers separately. Before you show each other, I want you to guess your partner's top 3. And then compare. And here's the thing. The purpose is not to get matching answers. The purpose is to understand each other. Because if you learn tonight that your spouse's number 1 meaning of money is security and yours is freedom, you have just uncovered why you have been having the same disagreement for the last 5 years when you want to create the experience and they want to save for the future. And suddenly, that disagreement is not a fight anymore. It's a conversation. So let's bring this home. You walked into this episode probably thinking that the next step in your financial journey was a better strategy, a better plan, a better spreadsheet, a better return, a better portfolio. And I hope you leave this episode believing something completely different. You don't need a better spreadsheet. You need a deeper understanding of the story underneath your spreadsheet and the patient's history. Because when you understand what money means to you, your own financial behavior finally starts to make sense. When you understand what money means to your spouse, your marriage finally has a chance to stop fighting about numbers and start building the life you actually want together. And when you understand both, then and only then are we ready to begin treatment. So tonight, today, whatever, after the kids are in bed, after the dishwasher is running, after the last chart is closed, I want you to do one thing. Turn to the person you love, look them in the eyes, and ask them the question you have probably never actually asked out loud. What does money mean to you? And then listen, really listen, because every money decision has a story underneath it. Yours does, hers does, his does, mine does. And once you finally hear the story, the money starts to make sense. Go ahead and download your companion worksheet in the show notes. This is a life well lived, and I will see you inside of episode 5, my friend.